One.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Piper Street Food Company. My name is Damien and today I'm going to show you how to make a restaurant quality pizza at home in your domestic oven. Let's start with the dough. Here I have 500 grams of plain flour. I have 325 mils of water. I have 1 sachet or 7 grams of dried yeast. We're going to take a little bit of extra virgin olive oil and some salt. Now, I've just started here by emptying one of these sachets into this bowl with a small amount of my water. Now that water is tepid, so you just pop your finger into the water. If you can't feel it, that's the temperature you want it to be. And then I've added just a small amount of flour with that as well to dissolve that yeast and just to get that thing moving. Into my mixer here, I'm going to add my water. I'm going to add my yeast and water mixture. I'm just going to take my spoon here from my olive oil just to get all of that out. I'm going to add a small amount of olive oil. We're probably looking at about a tablespoon of olive oil there. And then I'm going to add my plain flour. A bit of a debate about whether it's strong flour, baker's flour, or plain flour. Plain flour for me gives you that beautiful mix of chewiness in the dough, but it also gets a nice crust going on there as well. Okay, so with our mixer, now you could do all of this by hand if you had the time to do it, and it's a beautiful process by doing exactly the same thing, one hand in there, mixing it all together, and then slowly kneading it. Just before I go, I'll add 10 grams of salt. And then I'm going to mix this on a slow speed for about 4 minutes until the dough comes together. The bowl is clean, the dough's coming away from the bowl and it's starting to look elastic. Let's go. Okay. So this has been mixing for about 4 minutes now, and if I just lift up the arm here, you can see how the dough is coming out of the bowl and it's nice and clean. Okay, I'm just going to take off the dough hook here, working backwards. Okay, so in here, nice clean bowl, and here is our dough. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give this a quick knead by pushing the dough away, folding it in half, pushing it away. And all I'm doing is just smoothing out the dough here so that I have a nice round ball. Now we need to let this rest, okay? When we're making bread, we might let this rest for half an hour and a half, depending on what the fermentation process is. For this, because it's a pizza dough, we're gonna get into it fairly quickly. I'm just gonna let it sit for 20 minutes and then I'm gonna take that dough out and we're gonna divide it into balls. A little bit of olive oil that I've got here before into my bowl. And I'm just going to pop my dough in here and just turn it over so that it's all completely covered in olive oil there. I'm going to take my tea towel and I'm going to let that rest now for 20 minutes. Now I've already prepared one earlier, so I'm just going to pop this to the side over here. Then I'll take this one here. And here's one that's been sitting for about 20 minutes or so. Now you can see that it's slightly larger than the other one. I can feel that it's slightly lighter as well. So what I'm going to do here is just knock a little bit of the air out and then we're going to divide it out into our 4 balls. So just gently kneading it. Now, if you can, I recommend that you get yourself a set of scales. That way you can divide them out evenly here. So just taking my dough scraper. One of these are fantastic in the kitchen, by the way. We're going to use this to divide out our dough, but also the round edge in here when you're making cakes or making biscuits. These are a perfect tool to have in the kitchen. So 200 gram balls. And that should be 200 grams, 207 grams. Okay, so now we're just going to roll these by simply stretching the dough out and folding it underneath itself here. Stretching it out I'm turning the dough as I go here, okay? Stretching it out. And then I'm just going to roll that on my hand to create a ball. Stretching it out, stretching it out. Now this dough, this recipe, like I said, makes 4 pizza bases at 200 grams, which is enough for one person if you're hungry. So, but if you wanted to, you could easily double the recipe. A mixture like this will certainly take a double batch, that'll give you 8. But also, as you'll see when we make this recipe here, we can do multiple balls of dough. So we could do 4, 8, 12, 16. We can make the dough to a certain stage and then freeze them down. So the next time you want to make pizzas, you're ready to go. And it's always nice to have those things up your sleeve, especially when people pop around or you're a bit time poor. Okay, so 4 balls like so. I'm going to pop them into the flour here. And as you can see, I've got 3 more over here that I've already done. So they've been sitting now for about half an hour, again, ready to roll to go to the next stage. So I'll just pop these ones over here. Seal up my surface. Away with the scales. And if you can, really weigh the balls out. It does make a big difference. Okay, so here's my dough ball. Okay, again, it's nice and light because it's been resting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch this by hand. A little bit of flour on here, and just using the tips of my fingers, I'm just going to work in a circle all the way around here like so, slowly pushing that dough out. Some extra flour. Now, if you wanted to, you can use a rolling pin, but it's nice to have that hand stretch dough, give you that hand stretch feel. So you can see here, I'm just in my hands, just pulling that dough out. And now, with the dough here, if you can notice, I've kept it slightly thicker on the outside. So you've got that beautiful chewy crust to conform, and it's a little bit thinner on the middle. All right, so like I said, restaurant quality pizzas at home. So I'm just going to show you here. I'm just going to turn this on. Get a bit of heat in my pan here. All the way up on high, okay? I want to get a nice hot pan. Now, one of the beautiful things about a restaurant quality pizza is that crust, that crisp charred base underneath, which is obviously often gotten from a wood-fired pizza oven onto the floor where all of that heat is just driving through the pizza. Okay, and if you've ever had the opportunity, as I'm sure you have, to go to a wood-fired pizza restaurant, those pizzas are cooked at a really hot temperature and they come out really quickly. And it's that beautiful, crispy, charry dough that really sets those pizzas apart from your run-of-the-mill standard pizzas. Okay, so I've had this in the pan now for about 2 minutes. And if I just show you this here, if I can just lift up the base, and we can see we're taking on that beautiful color there and that wonderful crispiness. Now, I think this is a game changer when it comes to making pizzas at home. It gives you that restaurant quality, but it also gives you that flexibility. I know some people like to put a tile in their oven and heat that up so you can get the pizzas colored on the base, and that's a terrific thing to do. But it means that you've got to be able to make those pizzas in a fairly quick time to get them into the oven. By doing it this way, we can load up heaps of bases at once, and then we can start rolling them through the oven, or pop them in the freezer once they're cool, and you can pull them out whenever you need them. All right, let's make some pizzas. Okay, so here we go. Now this is where the fun starts, because you can make whatever you want as far as your pizza is concerned. Everybody has their favourite. Some people love anchovies, some people hate them, some people love capsicums, but others, ham and pineapple is the only thing they're going to eat. So this is where you really get to be creative and to make your own things. I'm going to make 2 pizzas today. And over here, I have 2 different pots, one with a Napoli sauce in it to make a traditional pizza. We're going to make a margherita pizza. And then in here, I've got some caramelized onions as well. We're going to make a pizza bianco, or a white-based pizza. Now, stay tuned, and coming up, we'll post a recipe on how to make these bases as well. So let's start here. So by the way, I've got my 2 bases, nicely cooked. We're going to start off with this one here with a bit of tomato, very simple. Some people like a lot of sauce, some people like to keep it fairly sparse, so that's a personal preference. For me, I sit somewhere in the middle. I want a bit of juiciness there, but I don't want the pizza to be so wet. And then while I'm here, I'll just pop the onions on this one as well. And I'll just use my spoon to spread those out. Okay, so we'll start off with the tomato-based pizza, a little bit of bocconcini. And then to that, you know, you love salami, pop some salami on it. You want some ham, beautiful. For me, I'm just going to grab some Kalamata olives here. And I'm going to pop a few Kalamata olives, keeping it simple. And I think when we're making a pizza like this, when we're doing that restaurant quality pizza, it's really important that we don't overload the pizza. You know, if you're hungry, make more rather than just piling it up too high, because what will end up happening is all of those ingredients will just steam on the pizza and you'll miss out on that caramelization that you want to happen. So as a rule of thumb, I like to see a little bit of color from everything showing through rather than being layer by layer by layer. Okay, so that one is ready to go. I'm just going to put a little bit of olive oil on there, like so. And then for this one here, again, I'm going to take a little bit of bocconcini and just break that up a little bit on the bottom. Not as much as the margarita with olives that I've got going on here. A little bit like so. I'm going to take my zucchini, and the same as I said before, we want to see a little bit of everything shining through. Like that. I'm going to take some feta cheese. Okay, it could be goat's cheese, it could be provolone or Asiago and those sorts of things, but what we're looking for here is a little bit of sharpness, which is just going to lift that caramelized onion and lift that zucchini as we cook it in the oven. I'm going to get a little bit of salt, just to season those zucchinis, bearing in mind that the feta is quite salty as it is, and then again we're going to go a little bit of olive oil on there as well. Okay, so these are going to go into my oven now. Now, I've been preheating my oven. Now we're using just a domestic oven here, fan force, and I've got it set at 250 degrees. Hot is what we want. This is a fairly quick cook. So 250 degrees, I've set my rack to the top of the oven so that I get all of that heat from up the top there, and I'm going to keep an eye on it as I'm cooking. Don't go and check the footy score or whatever it may be. Make sure you stay vigilant, stay with the pizzas, because we want to get that wonderful caramelization. We just don't want to take it too far. All right. Okay, so here are our pizzas. They've been in the oven for about 5 minutes. Look at that beautiful crust that we've got going on there. I'm just going to take them off the tray onto this board. Nice and hot. Take your time, be careful. All right, so first of all, let's cut them. Let's see if we can hear the crust. Absolutely beautiful. Steaming hot. Okay, so there's our pizzas. Now just to finish those off, I'm just going to dress my margarita here with a little bit of fresh basil. And I'll take a little bit of fresh mint and with my zucchini, and mint and zucchini are happy friends. They go really well together. A little bit more there. And then, if you can, a little bit of chili on there. And we're ready to eat. Absolutely beautiful. So my top tips for making a great restaurant quality pizza at home is obviously after we've made the dough, we've pressed it out by hand, we're going to pop them into a hot pan, a hot dry pan for about 2 to 3 minutes, or until you get that wonderful colour appearing on the bottom. That way you can make as many as you want ready to roll out when it's time to make pizzas. And the other thing is don't overload your pizzas. If you're hungry, just make more, but keep the colours all shining through. My name's Damien, thanks for joining us at the Piper Street Food Company.